it's the time that we're in, where facts are sort of flexible.
That's why we got Caitlin Collins on the Hill, fact-checking in real time. It was a great interview.
Citing uncredible sources, like citing the New York Post as a credible source and saying that facts are, it's just, I can't believe that we're here.
I think we have to stop coddling people when it comes to this and the vaccine, saying, oh, you can't shame them. You can't call them stupid. You can't call them silly. Yes, they are. The people who aided and abetted Trump are stupid because they believed his big lie. The people who are not getting vaccines, who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science, it's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind. Stop it with the ignorance. And we have to stop saying, oh, well, you know, you have to listen to people. And no, you don't. These people are being harmful to the greater good. You don't have to listen to a minority of people who are being harmful to the greater good and who are not acting on logic, reason, and science. And you're going to pay a whole lot of money. And you're going to tax the medical system when you could have gotten it for free and you wouldn't be in that position in the first place.
You're going to question the vaccine, but you want to take a horse dewormer.
Someone said or what was used in a court of law or what have you, then no one should be suspended for that. We should not sanitize that word by saying this person called such and such the N-word. No, that person didn't call that person the N-word. That person called Sonny. I know you're going to get upset. That person called you or that person a nigger. Didn't say the N-word.
I can't believe
As journalists, this whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's the wrong road to go down. She says people, you know, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. They are disinfecting offices. They are cleaning people. They are changing bedpans, and they are working. And those people are out there complaining because they don't have haircuts? Who the hell do you think you are? And if you're so upset about it, you should be mad at the president because he's the one that's supposed to help your small businesses. I understand that you're hurting. I understand that people are hurting. Yes, a lot of people are hurting. But there are people who are frontline workers who have to get out there. I did the color of COVID this weekend. Those people are at the grocery stores who didn't expect to have their lives be placed in danger because they have to work at the grocery store. They're driving buses, and you're protesting against, you're slapping the faces of the people who are the healthcare workers who put their lives on the line every day because you want a haircut, you want to go play golf, you're concerned about, of course you're concerned about your business. Tell the president that. And you're out there with guns, with weapons strapped to your chest, saying, "Oh, you want to get you're fighting against the people who are telling you to stay at home, trying to save your lives. You're upset with those people. In the meantime, there are people who are keeping your cities going, keeping your loved ones alive, and you want to get a haircut? Who the hell do you think you are?"
And that is just some of the dumbest things that Don Lemon has said on air. There is a lot more out there, but ladies and gentlemen, he is now gone. We got a lot to get into this week. Of course, we're going to be talking about Don Lemon here. We will be talking about Tucker as well. Of course, Biden has announced he's running again, and he's also tagging the interest rates on homeowners to help the less fortunate minority. We'll get into that as well. But we also have our Rumble section where we will be getting into Brittany Griner and Dylan Mulvaney saying it should be illegal for journalists to misgender them. Whatever that means.
Yeah, but that's a fun one.
But go ahead and make sure you hit that like button, share this show with your friends. Go ahead and subscribe to the Off Label Podcast channel. Ashley, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
It's been a rough week for me. I'll just put it that way. And I got to go back on night shift next week too, so it's going to be fun.
Well, I hope everybody who is currently joining us is having a really great evening and had a good week. If you didn't, hopefully everyone has a better week next week. I don't know. But yeah, lots to get into, lots of thoughts. I feel like this week has just been it's been like just a firestorm of crazy stuff going on. So let's get into it.
Right. Well, Just Cause is back with us today.
What is up, man?
Yeah, he comes from Rob's channel as well. There is also something else I want to bring up a little bit here too, and we're going to do that right before we get into the Crowder section. Actually, forgot to talk to you about this beforehand. It seems that the Proud Boys case is wrapping up. So it seems there is a very, very disturbing situation that has popped up in the jury notes section of that trial, and we're gonna touch on that a little bit later too. But let's go ahead and get into it, ladies and gentlemen. We all knew it was going to happen, but the time is here. Don Lemon stunned after ousting at CNN. Would you go away here, video? CNN host Don Lemon says he's been fired by CNN. I am stunned, Lemon said in his message posting on Twitter on Monday, saying his agent had informed him of his firing by CNN. The Hill has confirmed Lemon's exit with CNN. Licht, I think that is, Chris Licht, said in the memo to CNN workers that CNN and Don have parted ways. Don will forever be a part of the CNN family. Obviously not. He's gone now. And we will thank him for his contributions over the past 17 years. It's been 17 years too late. Licht said we wish him well. What?
17 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Out the door. Ousted. Booted. See you later. And people keep calling him Sour Lemon. I think that's funny. Yeah. No, this one was an interesting one for sure. Especially with the Tucker Carlson stuff going on at the exact same time. That was crazy.
I like the way they put, we will wish him well and we'll be cheering him on in his future endeavors. What future endeavors? Being a Burger King cash register cashier? Because who's going to touch this man?
I don't know. That opening clip, there's so much hypocrisy in like every single thing he said. And that's all I could think. Every clip that came up was like, this is rich coming from you. Are you serious right now? But yeah, I don't know. He's gonna. I think he'll find a place to go, but I think he'll probably have it won't be his first choice.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna bring on a bad name immediately. It's like when Brian Stelter was fired and he went to go teach at Harvard. Like that was a bad move on Harvard's part because he's teaching journalism at Harvard. What? That makes no sense.
He fits right in there. Like that's what they want. They don't want people who are actually thinking for themselves which is hilarious in a school like that. But that's just where we're at.
Do you remember when he was given some kind of like lecture at a school or something like that, and that kid's like, "Oh well, you talk a lot about misinformation and everything, and CNN is the worst of it. What do you have to say?" And he's like, "Well, that's lunch." Do you remember that?
Yeah. I remember that clip. That was the funniest thing. It's and it's funny too because like I feel like there's it's pretty easy to go to a college setting and kind of dunk on some of the young dumb kids out there, type of thing. And I take those types of thing with like a grain of salt, but like man, when they start clapping back at you, you're like, oh, okay, well, because I think a lot of the conservatives, go and do that just to kind of see where we're at in in the sphere of higher education. But sometimes I'm like, man, this is like it's too easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's incredibly easy. But all right. I do want to bring this up as well, though, because this is great. Let's go ahead and read his little thing here. Okay, it says, I should have brought this up real quick. Well, my God, that's not working. I was informed this morning by my agent that I have been terminated by CNN. I am stunned. After 17 years at CNN, I would have thought that someone in management would have the decency to tell me directly. At no time was I ever given any indication that I would not be able to continue to do the work I have loved for this network. It is clear that there are some larger issues at play. With all that said, I want to thank my colleagues and the many teams I have worked with for an incredible run. They are the most talented journalists in the business, and I wish them all the best. No, because apparently after he put that in, CEO Chris Lick fired back and said, "Where is it? It's after this, right? Lemon joined at the anchor. Lemon first came under fire. Blah blah. No, that was not the right tab. It's this one, right? Get out of here." Did I not bring it up? Oh no, I didn't bring it up then. Jesus.
Oh, no.
But now they were just saying, give you a roundabout about it. While I actually do bring it up, that they were saying that it's a little bit misleading because you did have that little meeting after you were on a rant about Nikki Haley and all that, about diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all that good stuff. You had to go through re-education, so you had no idea this was coming. Come on, but let me see if I can go down.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I think it's kind of some karma coming in when somebody like Don Lemon gets the boot.
Oh yeah.
How old are you? How old am I? I'm 31. Drunken's a little bit older than I am.
37. I'll be 38 this year.
You're old.
Yes.
I make fun of my husband that he's old, and he's only like 3 years older than me. So, but he'll be like, "I'm so much older than you. You don't remember these things," and I'm like, "It's 3 years, bro. What are you talking about?" But like, there's some stuff where I'm just like, "Yeah, I have no idea, no clue what you're saying." But yeah, no.
I'm trying to find it real quick. I meant to bring that up here, but
no, you're fine. I'm going through comments. I don't think it's as cut and dry as that, my friend, but we'll get into that. I have lots of thoughts. That's very nice. Thank you so much.
They scrub it, but anyway, it's we can just go with it.
Okay.
There was something I read in one of these that it's here it is. Yeah.
Do you have it?
What? Don Lemon's from CNN Communications here. Don Lemon's statement about this morning's event is inaccurate. He was offered an opportunity to meet with management, but instead released a statement on Twitter. So yeah. At no point did I know about any of this. No, you straight up lied. So yeah. I mean, even on his way out, this guy can't stop lying. This is just incredibly epic. And, Cuomo was the first one to go from CNN through the past couple of years. And what is he doing now? Like, he's got some viewers and everything, but it's like a total of like 17,000 for like a month. And it's probably everybody just mocking him.
You know what's so funny is like, I heard about Don Lemon, and then it was so quickly overtaken by like talk of Tucker Carlson. And I found that really, really funny in the sense that like people saw that and just said Fox just tanked their network, which is interesting because we actually looked it up, and apparently Gutfeld actually gets more viewers than Tucker Carlson does, but it's more of like, I don't know, a group show as well. I don't know how people watch Gutfeld. I can't stand him, but he just annoys me. So, and the show itself is not. It's just not. I'm not the target audience on that one. I think the writing is pretty rough. The jokes are pretty rough, but anyway. I just thought it was really funny that nobody really cared about Don Lemon past like, oh, he got fired. Okay, that's pretty fitting. But about Tucker Carlson, where's he going? What's he gonna do? What's he, and everyone's like speculating on where he's gonna end up and what's gonna happen. And I just think that's really telling. Like, nobody's doing that with Don Lemon, like, because nobody really cares that much. You know what I mean?
I mean, everybody that used to like the dude turned on him. Even the black community turned on him. So
Yeah, well, he's not a great.
I don't see him being in
representation.
front of a camera much longer at all. But yeah.
Yeah, no. I don't know. He might go into like, probably not even like journalism though, and like writing and stuff. Who knows? I just have no idea. But yeah,
I do think this was, there's a lot of talk about what it was and everything like that brought him down. I do think this was the last straw. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. Let's go ahead and hear this real quick.
With due respect, I find your explanation reductive and actually insulting, including to black Americans, to say that black people today, compared to 1964, 1865, haven't made progress in part because of the freedoms we secured. And the Second Amendment was part of what secured
hang on,
that
please.
freedom.
I cannot keep a thought if you guys are talking to me in my ear. So hang on.
Right there. He takes out his earpiece because the production team's probably like, you best shut up. Just stop.
1 second. That black people.
Oh, this gets great.
Say what you said again.
Black people secured their freedoms after the Civil War. It is a historical fact, Don. Just study it. Only after their Second Amendment rights were secured.
They
That's
were
a
not
fact.
secured their freedoms after the Civil War. That is not. You are discounting Reconstruction. You're discounting a whole host of things that happened after the Civil War when it comes to African Americans, including the whole reason that the Civil Rights Movement happened is because black people did not secure their freedoms after the Civil War, and that things turned around. People tried to change the freedoms that were supposed to.
And you know how they got it?
War
They got their Second Amendment rights, and they actually got the NRA played a big role in that. But today, down the
NRA did not play a big role.
Absolutely,
in
they
that.
trained black Americans how to use firearms.
That's a lie. That's not. The NRA did not play a big role.
This is just historical fact. But
It's not
down
historical fact.
the part that I
Just
find
because you say it's historical fact.
The part that I
it's not
find
historical
insulting
fact.
is when you say today black Americans don't have those rights after we have gone through civil rights revolution in this country.
You are sitting here telling an African American about the rights and what you find insulting about the way I live, the skin I live in every day.
Here's where you and I
know
have a
the
different
freedoms
point
that
of view.
black and white that black people don't have in this country, and that black people do have.
Well, here's where you and I have a different point of view. I think we should be able to express our views regardless of the color of our skin. We should have this debate
I'm not saying you
without
shouldn't
me
express
regarding
great.
you as a
I think
black
it's
man,
insulting that
but
you're
me
sitting
regarding you
here,
as a fellow citizen.
that you're
That's what I
sitting
think we should
here,
see.
whatever ethnicity you are, explaining to me
Whatever ethnicity
about
I'm,
what it is like to be black. in
Whatever
America.
ethnicity I am,
I'm
I'll tell
sorry.
you what I am. I'm an Indian American.
Oh my
I'm proud of it,
God.
but I think we should have this debate. Black, white, doesn't matter.
I think we should have this
on
debate.
the content
but I
of
think
the
if you're
ideas.
gonna do it, you should do it in an honest way and in a fair way. And what you're doing is not an honest and fair way. Okay?
With-
But we appreciate you coming on.
With
Thank
due
you for
respect,
that.
Don, I look forward
Thank
to
you very
continuing
much.
that
I appreciate
conversation.
it. We'll
Thank
continue
you.
the conversation.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's gotta hurt. Dude's like, I'm black. You can't talk about these issues if you're not black. You're over here. What ethnicity splaining? Dude.
I just think it's so fun. I think it's very hypocritical for someone to place so much merit in their skin color, but then completely disregard somebody else just because they come from a different ethnicity. Like sir, like pot meet kettle here. Like you can't have it both ways. You can't sit here and I don't know, complain about a certain group being marginalized, but completely disregard another group just because they somebody who's coming from another group just because they disagree with you.
Right. But yeah, it's just, God, the fact that he even tries to pull that, because, I mean, Ramaswamy was owning him. He was correct on that. And Don Lemon is just like, no, because he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. And he's like, racism. And pulls out that card. And he's just like, dude, I'm Indian.
Well, yeah. You know what's really funny is I feel very similarly when like a lot of people will have kind of their go-to arguments for whatever conversation they're having, right? And I've been talking about abortion for the past couple days on Twitter, and everyone always goes to, you don't get to use your religious views to dictate how other people's choices or how other people live. And I'm just like, bro, I'm not religious whatsoever. Like, what are you? You don't get to just claim like that. It actually frustrates me because, and people on both sides do this, where they just assume the other person's views because they kind of have this caricature in their mind instead of just actually, discussing it with them like a person. Because I don't know, I just take a different approach when I'm directly interacting with people. I just don't assume anything. I just go based off of what they say. Shocking, but
Well,
it's just one of those things.
I get that a lot too. When I bring up anything, it's always religion or I'm a maggot extremist or something. I'm just like, dude, you have no idea who the hell I am.
I got added to a Twitter list, and it was like the maggots ruining the country or something. And I was like, I've never once uttered like MAGA, and like that's just not my jam. It's not my vibe. Like, what are you talking about? I just think it's really funny, man. It's like, bro,
hold on. After the Katy, Texas incident, Antifa thought that I was Abel Garcia. They posted me on their website and called me Abel Garcia. And I'm just like, missed the mark on all of that.
By quite a bit. It wasn't the description. There wasn't the description of it like really weird too.
I was a right wing or a detransitioning right wing conspiracy theorist or something like that. And I'm just like, what?
I like how you know what's funny is like the whole conspiracy. You're a conspiracy theorist. Like, yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that are like fun to talk about and think about and stuff. It's not fun when they come true. That's not fun. like that's the difference for me. Is we recently watched the movie Conspiracy Theory, and I'd never seen it before. And it was a really good movie, but I was like, see, I miss these people. I miss the people who were just legit kind of crazy and talking about conspiracy theories and connecting all these dots. And I miss that it didn't come true.
Well, there's a lot that has come true about a lot of things. So when you call me a conspiracy theorist, it's more like, well, thank you, because I'm over the mark then. So
yeah. For real. It's just a funny thing. Like it's turned into an insult the same way like a lot of things have they try to turn them into insults. And I'm just like, bro, that doesn't really work. I don't see it as the negative thing that you see it as, I guess, or I don't know. It's like insults only work if you're actually offended by them, I guess.
like all these instant phobias people use now, it doesn't do any more damage anymore. Nobody cares because you've used them so much. It's just like, well, it's pretty much you're giving a lot of credence to people at that point in time, because that's the only thing you've got left. Once somebody says, "Oh, you're a racist," or "You're a transphobia," or whatever, like, you've won the conversation.
Yeah. It's not conspiracy theories anymore. It's spoiler alerts.
Pretty much, yes.
Truth, bro. Truth. No, yeah. I don't know. The whole so what frustrates me the most is like when everybody's hurling insults, and it happens on both sides, and it's actually like really starting to irritate me that like the right wing wants to complain about how the left is constantly saying how horrible and hateful and blah, blah, you know what I mean? But like you're playing into their hand when you stoop down to their level, which we've had this argument, but I've just been thinking about it a lot more because it's frustrating because now it's like, I don't know, people are trying to pull back so far that like, instead of making their own side more appealing or their views resonate with anyone, it's just like, I'm just gonna I can't think of another term. I'm just going to shit on you, and put you in, and put you in your place, so to speak. That kind of weird thing. I don't know. It's just something that irritates me. Like, don't stoop to somebody else's level. So I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I will counter argue. There is a valid tactic to it because it does work.
Though.
It has worked when I do it, and it works a lot more often than you think.
No, it really doesn't. That's never. Listen. When you're in a place where you're like reacting purely from emotions, you're never going like all that somebody else like throwing insults right back at you. All that does is provoke you even more. And it makes you more emotionally heightened, and you want to then dig your heels in even deeper. Now, you might later on, maybe something sticks with you and you think about it. But generally speaking, like that's not the way to like actually get anyone to change their mind. It's just a way for your own team to like give you all the props and the kudos and stuff like that. And it happens like too, like, cause now it's like getting to the point where everybody's getting so tribalistic. Is that even if you're on the right and you have some nuance in your views, or you're on the left and you're not completely batshit insane, people will still like go after you in your own groups. Like on the left, if anyone kind of speaks against the progressive ideology, then they get attacked by their own group. In the right, if you, I don't know, espouse, like there's like some pro-choice people who are right-leaning, right? And they have their own reasons and they're more reasonable people about it. Like I could have a conversation with them about it, but they get mobbed by the right the same exact way. And I just think it's really unproductive. You know, it's just getting into really tribalistic, like no one's allowed to have nuance. No one's allowed to like have different types of views. And like, I go toe to toe with conservatives all the time about religion. Like I'm just respectful about it. You know, I think that's the big difference, but anyway.
Well, see, I say it is a valid tactic and it does work because latest example, what it was 2 days ago, I was on Reddit and I left a little, you remember what I sent you about the ending, the jury notes of the Proud Boys trial? You remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So I left it on a subreddit and I was just like, I'm 50 plus informants have been found to be involved in January 6th in this case here. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that for you guys. And then they started arguing with me and I posted the link and everything like that just for, all of that. And they're just like, well, no, this didn't happen. And I was like, okay, 16 to 24 minute mark, listen to it. And they did. A few of them did. And they're just like, oh, I didn't know that. And I was like, yeah, of course I was insulting them the entire time. Had I not been insulting these kinds of people who were insulting me at that point, they never would have looked. Because they don't have that reason to come back and keep arguing. So once they did listen to that, they were like, oh crap. So yeah.
I don't know, because I just don't think it's a way to actually get anyone to come around to your viewpoint and change their mind or anything, or like be willing to listen. Because like typically, at least at this point, like
willing to listen in a conversation like this, no. But they're not going to have a conversation like this.
Well, because so what's really interesting is that like the other day I made a TikTok responding to a comment because I went back and forth with this dude for a little bit. And I was we were talking about like the kids transitioning, kids medically transitioning. And he was basically trying to say like, well, nobody's transitioning kids or like, blah, 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 like all the talking points, like, well, that's not happening. And so I made this TikTok. I think it's on my shorts too. And I basically just provided a bunch of proof. And you know how many people that guy never responded, by the way. I don't even think he went and watched that video. Like he just kept arguing in the comment section of a different video. And I was just like, bro, can you just go look? And I had told him, like, can you please like look into this? And he's just like, no, I've had enough propaganda. I've had enough of your propaganda. And I'm like, BBC is not propaganda. Go look at this article from BBC where it clearly states that like these European countries have stopped this procedure because they don't know the potential long-term risks. Like this is not propaganda, my friend, but you're listening to your propaganda, which is, trapping you in an echo chamber. So you won't even go and look outside because you might have to reanalyze your views. Oh my gosh. Like that just gets to me, man. Like, and I get it. Because I was there at one time, but at least I had the mental acuity to just be like, maybe I'm wrong. Like maybe I'm not getting the whole picture here. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I do. I will say though, there is a big difference in the way, like I've said before, a big difference in the way men and women have to fight though. Okay. It is, if we fight the way I kind of do, it's expected. We're just being an a-hole about it. But if women did it, nobody's going to want to listen to you because it's a. I
mean, I don't know.
It's a gender thing.
I'm not even sure. Like, there's a lot of more like abrasive women, I would say, on TikTok who get pretty big platforms, but they might be like mostly followed by other women, who knows. But I think just even that, just like the whole men versus women thing, like I don't know, I think some men you're probably right in the sense that like a lot of men probably just are like, just another loud obnoxious You know, I don't know, but because there's guys where I kind of get that too. Like, ugh, you're just being loud and obnoxious, and I don't like it. Like, shush.
I don't even want to listen to Anna Kasparian because she does that.
I mean, I don't want to listen to it. You know what's really frustrating though is like Anna Kasparian has the ability to sit and have an actual conversation, because that debate with Ben Shapiro was actually really good. And I was like, see, like, I wish you were just like this all the time.
Yes.
But, you know, outrage gets clicks. So.
Well, then again, you also got to look at Candace Owens on the Timcast IRL episode where she was just trying to rip into Steven Crowder. I mean, some of the things she was saying was actually valid, but she just came off like a crazy, unhinged, ranting lunatic.
Yeah, and like
when women do it looks bad.
I mean, I've actually stopped watching Candace Owens quite a bit, like regularly. You know, like if something pops up, I'll watch it. But because she's started really doing that a lot, and it's not my vibe. Like, I liked when she was going around and she was having like talks and, you know, kind of like more lecture scenarios and panels and stuff like that, where she's like debating things. And I think she would make really good points. And she was like aggressive in the sense where she needed to be, you know, but it wasn't overly so. But now I feel like on her show, it's just really like ranty and ravey all the time. And it's very preachy. And I'm just like, ugh, like, it's just not my vibe, I guess.
He is right on this.
Calling somebody a conspiracy theorist started with the CIA when people didn't believe that Oswald shot JFK. Interesting.
Yeah, he is right. And by the way, the CIA did admit to killing JFK.
Yeah.
That was released.
No.
But yeah.
Wild. I need to go down that rabbit hole a bit more. I haven't explored it fully. And
it's a weird one. It's like everything that everybody like, oh, if you actually go down and listen to the conspiracy theory about it, they play out almost down to the second how everything happened. And from the CIA files, it's like, yeah, pretty much they were right. Sorry about that. And then we just gloss over that like that's aliens. Hey, aliens. Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. But, all right.
I feel like the but aliens thing was such a wild thing that I didn't have on my bingo card for this year. Like, why has there been so many aliens? Like, what? It's just the ultimate distraction. Like, and people who've been, I don't know, mapping out courses of like alien, you know, like UFO sightings and stuff like that are just like, I'm vindicated. Yes, we're finally talking about it. We got so excited about it.
All right, everybody, make sure you go over to, the Off Label podcast right there. That is the YouTube one. I'm going to throw up the Rumble link as well for you guys. We're going to go ahead and cut off for the Ashley's channel and my channel here to continue to cover this. So go ahead, jump over there real quick, over there on the Off Label YouTube or Rumble, whichever one you want to do. It's fine. But before you go, make sure you leave a like on the videos that you're at, ladies and gentlemen. Help us get through a little bit more. But yeah. Let's go through some chats here while we let them go over.
Also, thank you guys all for joining in. It's been really fun, really cool. Make sure to follow us over to Off Label, and we just tend to start over here so people like know that we're up and running and all that fun stuff. So make sure to go subscribe so that you can stay up with us.
That and I don't want to say something really, really messed up to hurt Ashley's channel. I'd feel like a big So yeah.
Ashley, who's your favorite conservative pundit? I mean, it depends on what you're talking about, pundit. I don't really watch many like news like anchors or anything like that. I would say that probably some of my favorite people to kind of go and listen to what's going on, listen to their takes is Amala Ekpanobi from Unapologetic, Tim Pool. I do enjoy watching Matt Walsh, but he's very abrasive. And I don't know, probably the quartering. I tend to go over there just to be like, what's going on today? What's happening? and he gives a lot of news content, even if it's just real brief and kind of skimming the surface of stuff. It's just fun to listen to. So yeah, but that's not. I mean, he's not really a conservative pundit either. But yeah, those are just the people I tend to watch the most. But I like people with more nuanced views and people who I don't agree with on every single thing.
All right, I'm going to cut your feed while we do this here. Go ahead and look for another one to answer there. And if y'all want to hear what she's got to say, jump on over to the off-label channel. But
very sly,
right? But I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. Go ahead and jump on over. You guys got that link. As a matter of fact, might as well do it one more time for y'all. So y'all have that there.
Interesting. I think men tend not to take in all that a woman is saying. Women tend not to say exactly what they are saying, nuanced and many connected thoughts intertwined. That's actually...
Oh, we cutting it right here. Y'all go over so you can hear what her response is.
Yeah, that's actually interesting, and it does make sense. I think the problem, and so this is the problem if you are a direct woman, and you speak directly, is that sometimes it can come across as abrasive, or it can come across as combative almost, because women just tend to be more agreeable, right? So it even happens with me with other women. If I kind of meet another woman and she's just very, very direct and forward in what she is saying, I'm like, it's just a bit intimidating almost, right? So, and I think that just comes from just women largely being more agreeable. And I think I'm also really long-winded, but my husband is too. So we both just talk forever at each other. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting observation though. I think there's definitely some truth in that. And I will say that tends to be how my thoughts are anyway. Very interconnected. There's a lot of stuff kind of all going on at the same time. Can be hard to articulate.
Well, okay. So my wife over here on Rumble says my mic keeps going in and out. I've been battling this for StreamYard for so long, editing mic settings and everything, and nothing seems to be working. So I don't know what to do anymore. Is it still okay to you?
It is when you're talking into it directly. I think it's when your face moves a little bit even.
Oh, so I'm going to have to be doing this the entire time.
Yeah,
this is going to get weird. I don't know. I'll mess around with it a little more, try to find out exactly what's causing that.
All right.
So let's get into this a little bit here.
Tim Pool's a great stuff. I like Tim Pool. Okay, calm down about it.
Controversial TV host Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News. You go ahead and take this one.
All right. Big screen, because I had us little here, so let's look at it, chat. Okay, so Fox News Media and controversial host Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways, the media company has said. The announcement comes less than a week after parent company Fox Corp agreed to pay $787.5 million to Dominion Voting Systems to avert a defamation trial, which is pretty interesting. There have been no immediate explanation from Fox about why Carlson is leaving. The network has said his last program was Friday, which is sus to just be oh, he's just done. Yeah, we already had the last thing. Bye. Mm-hmm. Fox News Tonight will air live at 8 p.m. EST, starting this evening as an interim show helmed by rotating Fox News personalities until a news host is named, the network added. We thank him for his service to the network as a host and prior to that as a contributor. That's kind of a rude parting comment. It's not filled with nearly as much love as CNN tried to portray, which I think is kind of funny. But the stock price of Fox Corp, the parent company of Fox News, dropped sharply after Carlson's departure became public, dipping more than 4%. Yeah.
Yeah. But there were like text messages and everything apparently that were coming out of this Dominion thing, where Tucker Carlson was hating on the executives of Fox News, and they were saying things like, well, he never believed the conspiracy theory lie about, the fraud narrative from the election, things like that. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest. The way this plays out, this does sound like Tucker Carlson was Fox News' fall guy in this whole situation from this, though. Like, he's just like, I don't believe this. Why am I saying these things? Okay, well, you're outing him because he was the voice, and everybody was like, okay, well, they're saying defamatory things about Dominion. Dominion hits that lawsuit, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, fine, we'll settle. Get him out.
Yeah, I think, it's, man, when I heard about that lawsuit going down, I was like, oh, like, this is a serious one too, and I started to just kind of have that. I've had that thought for a while that like all of mainstream media is it's just the same. It's just repackaged. It's just repurposed and delivered straight to the people who, they want to hear whatever side of the argument. And I've always just kind of had a problem with that. But yeah, no, I think they definitely used him as like a scapegoat. Like, oh, it's his fault. Look, we're going to fire him. Bye. Everything's fine.
Well, I mean, I kind of
a lot of money.
I kind of feel like Daily Wire is the exact same thing as like mainstream media news. The way they structure everything, the conversations they have, the ad reads that they constantly do. I mean, I feel like they're the same thing, just repurposed for the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Daily Wire has thrown me off so much. I've never really. They say some things that just like. A lot of things that are questionable, some things that they won't talk about. And when they do get hit with strikes and things like that, somehow they always seem to bounce back. Like, oh, well, we got this video struck down, and in a week, hey, we got it back. Wonder how that happens.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like they've probably got a lot more pull with a company like YouTube than most other people are going to have, like they're sizable companies with a sizable presence online. Of course, they're going to have a bit more of a direct communication perhaps than even like some of the biggest YouTubers, just because, those are individuals versus a company. And
right.
I don't know. I think overall, like,
but it is a little bit favorable when you're pumping a lot of money in an advertisement with these companies.
Yeah, and I mean that's also a leverage point too. It's like, hey, like we pay you all of this money for advertising. You can't take down our content. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I don't look at it necessarily as like, oh, look, they're in bed with big tech and blah blah blah. Like you do have to work within the confines of the given platform that you're on. Like, oh yeah, I'm on TikTok. It's one of the most sensitive platforms that has ever existed when it comes to, I don't know how I've survived. I'm just lucky, or I just know how to meander my way through the word gymnastics to stay somewhat good, even though my account's been taken down like twice or 3 times or something like that, and I got it back. I don't know how, but yeah. So I think it's just something like that. Like you have to work within the confines of the platform that you're on. And, I mean, Walsh went through it with the whole, pronouns thing recently. I think that's a bit much. I think like requesting somebody respect the pronouns is pretty frustrating. And it's just like, but like that's compelled speech though, which we'll kind of get into in the Rumble segment anyway, but.
Yes. But yeah, it's just like, I don't know, just it rubs me the wrong way. I guess I get it. You rely off the revenue and everything from these platforms, but yet, it kind of reminds me of the Ethan Klein situation. He's one of those protected people, but so many people started complaining when he was saying to do things about the NRA and about Ben Shapiro
making threats and
yeah.
Shapiro stuff was so crazy. Like I just couldn't believe that you would say something like, bro, read the room.
Right. But for him to come back after all that, yes, he did take a little strike, but for him to be able to come back and still just be like, well, I said something wrong, but I stand by my statements. No. You should not be allowed to be able to do that, especially when you got other people who are kicked off and completely 100% banned. They can't come back and make a new channel because it's against your terms of service and everything. But yet Ethan Klein can call for mass unaliving. And it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a point of hypocrisy. Sorry, somebody was asking me where the feed went because we like cut it for my channel. Anyway, they were like, what happened?
Yeah, the Rumble thing's going to start. We're going to wrap up Tucker's little thing here in a second. We got 2 more things we need to talk about, and then we'll jump over to just the Rumble segment.
Yeah. So kind of closing thoughts on this, though. I don't know. I'm interested to see what Tucker's going to do. I'm sure he's already got somewhat of a plan in place, and especially with his like little announcement that he made, everybody got super excited about that. And it was just really funny because this Tucker Carlson, like, I'm just going to do this from my basement now. I just thought, I think, it's funny because I think Carlson is actually like really endearing in just who he is, how he acts as a person. I don't know. I just like him. And I actually, when I was, I wrote when I was taking a class, it was kind of in the middle of like my political shift. And I had a super, super lefty instructor. And so I was taking like a journalism class online, and I was like, they said to write an essay about who, like the greatest hero of journalism or something along those lines. And I just was like, I'm just going to pick Tucker Carlson and just see what happens, see if I get a good grade. And so I wrote a whole essay about Tucker Carlson and his background, and I got an A on it. Like he didn't fail. I was like shocked. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, because I just like picked it just to be like, I wonder what's going to happen. Like it's kind of a test for that guy because he was very, very lefty. And I was like,
Fact Gorillas. Yeah, we remember you. And like we said, we're just doing this on the fly, brother. We are learning and growing with our skills as we go along.
Sir,
but I do want to mention something.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all take a look at this. This is the front page of Rumble. Look what's under number 3 in news.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But no, I am not a good YouTuber. I'm just gonna say that. I have a lot to learn, a lot of skills I need to learn. I am a horrible streamer. I'm not good at this. So this is why we do this, is to practice and get better and get more comfortable.
Yeah, I kind of bullied her into this. Like I have the streaming like experience from Twitch and gaming and things like that. But yeah. All right. But yeah, this is Tucker's little closing statements. The first time he ever reached out after he was fired, and I'm really hopeful to see what he's got now. I'm pretty sure he does have to wait till his contract time is done with for Fox News. If I'm not mistaken, that's like 17, 18 months or something like this. But what he says in this, I've never really listened to like Fox News, and I don't really listen to a lot of I don't religiously listen to Tucker Carlson. I hear little skits here and there from it, but you got my attention now, sir. Y'all listen up.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. War, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues? It's been a long time. Debates like that are not permitted in American media. Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
See, isn't that just the most endearing freaking thing ever? Like, I don't know. He's just wholesome. I just appreciate him.
I think that whole little dig at the end is there are some places. I think he's going to Rumble. Nobody else can afford him. Daily Wire cannot afford that man. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to go to... No, Daily Wire is not a good fit for him. Because Daily Wire censors whoever... the same people that are on there talking. No, I think he's going to Rumble, and I think he's going to do it himself.
Well, yeah. I don't understand like how Rumble, like when people are signing up with Rumble or signing with Rumble. I guess I'm kind of just confused on what that actually entails or what that means or what that contract looks like, because like that's all. I haven't heard any details. You know what I mean? I've just heard so I'm not really sure what that entails monetary wise, but anyway, yeah, I don't think he has any other option other than to just produce, like just start his own like channel, his own show. And I'm sure there's plenty of people who he knows and he has connections with that will help produce it and, you know, like make it a whole big thing. And so, yeah, I think because a lot of people were speculating maybe he would move to Spotify like Joe Rogan did. So, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Well, see, I see a problem with that as well, because Joe Rogan went over to Spotify, and in his contract, Spotify could not censor him in any way, shape, or form. Like that was part of the contract. And then there was that whole thing where they were pushing for him to be removed from Spotify, and Spotify did take down a few of his episodes. So
yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen either. Especially seeing as how you have to understand, this man knows more about the inner workings of our government than anybody else on TV. Do you think he would take that where Spotify is going to be like, okay, we'll let you say whatever you want, and then people start screaming, especially like Chuck Schumer did to that Mulder, whatever the dude from Rupert Murdoch. Yeah, that dude. I don't know why Mulder came up in my head. That's X-Files. But yeah, it's like Chuck Schumer's just like, shut him up. Don't let him talk about January 6th, our narrative. Break our narrative if he does it. And then all of a sudden, what happened to that? It ran for a day or two and then gone. So yeah, he knows a lot more than he's leading on. And I don't think Spotify would be a great move for that too. Honestly, I think Rumble would be his best bet. And think about it. Look how much Crowder brought over. You think how many people would come over to Rumble for Carlson?
Well, it's not even just Crowder. Like, look at like Russell Brand. Like,
Russell Brand brought some over too.
Russell Brand was like, I think the first real big name to be like, I'm done with YouTube. You can find clips on there, but I'm running my entire show on Rumble. Like, hands down. I think he was the first one that really like everyone watched. Like, oh, okay. Like people really will follow you. And like, that's the thing too about having a community where you have a loyal, I don't like to say fan base, a loyal audience, because that way, you know that you have support, you have backing. And it's those people who sit and every single day are listening to what you're saying and every single day want to hear what you have to say. Like there's a lot of power within that.
There is. There definitely is, but I don't know. I think he's going to strike out on his own, especially with his executive producer left as well, not too long after he did. I think he's striking out on his own, and I think he's going to really do something. And when he comes back, I'm going to pay attention, and I'm going to pay attention hard because I'm sure he's got shit to say.
Yeah. No, I'll be interested. I'm sure, but I'm sure he's had to sign an NDA from Fox. I can't imagine that they would not do that. Look how many people went to Rumble after the facts. What? Oh, you're silly,
Keep it up, though.
Silly.
Keep it up. I'm going to tell you the truth, though. Honestly, with Rumble, the key is the lives. Like videos, unless you're a big name person, videos don't get a lot of plays over there. It is the lives that bring the attention to you.
Which is interesting because, like, I've had videos on Rumble get quite a bit of views, but I'm talking like less than 1,000. You know, it's not like my YouTube whatsoever.
No.
Their algorithm, if there's like, I don't know how I don't know how any algorithm works. People think I know all of these things. I don't know any of that. I just post a video and hope it does well. Just hope for the best. Just a wing.
See, gorillas, we don't know what we're doing. But yeah.
No, I'm going to let you in on a secret. Nobody knows what they're doing. They're just doing the best that they can. That's the secret to life. That like people are like, that person's got everything together. In reality, the person that you're looking at probably has a million insecurities and self-doubt and all of that stuff. And they just put up a good front. Like, just put up a good front. You know,
definitely. All right. So, speaking of somebody who doesn't put up a good front, and good Lord, we're in trouble. Where is it? Oh, there's my mouse. Biden, 80, formally declares 2024 re-election bid. I love this story from Reuters because it's literally this. Washington, April 25th.
It's
Reuters. Rotor. I don't care what it's called.
I'm probably wrong too. We're probably just got annoyed with me saying Reuters.
But this is the entire article. Whoever got paid for this, fire him immediately. Stephen Holland, Trevor. Like, there was four people on this, and this is all they came up with. U.S. President Joe Biden on Tuesday officially launched his candidacy to seek a second White House term in 2024, according to a campaign video posted online. Done. I get paid for this.
There's really no more. People don't get paid what people think that they do. These articles get you have to write so many of these stupid things because you get paid per piece that you do typically within like these kind of journalism stuff. Anyway, and I guess it just depends too. Probably there's a lot of I do like freelance stuff. I see things so, but I've never done writing for working for a company, I guess, like that. But yeah, okay. So what else I thought was really funny about that is like the other day, Biden got caught with a notebook with like with a notebook with I was like so enraged. I don't know why we don't have anything for that, but I was so like absolutely astounded that he had a notebook with the reporters. Like, it's planned, so it's all pre-planned, and they give him a picture of the reporter that they want him to call on with the question that they're going to ask, with the answer, with the predetermined answer written down, and like the name of the and all the stuff, like the phonetic, like how you say that person's name so he doesn't get it wrong. And I'm just like, this is a problem, guys. We cannot. It's one thing to I don't know, go through like briefings, right? Yeah, it's so bad.
Reporter Q&A. Question number 1. Courtney Supermarian. It's spelled out, so you can't mess that up, even though I did. Supermanian. I like how they capitalize Maine. Subramanian. But yeah.
I would say that so much. Subramanian. Anyway, yeah, no, I think this is a huge problem, guys. Like, if the president of the United States has to have a whole pamphlet to just be able to answer a few questions from the press, it's probably not a good sign of, great mental capacity.
No.
And I think it's definitely like, it's super understandable to kind of go through like scenarios in briefing and be like, okay, Mr. President, if a reporter asks this, what would be your response? And they say their response and they're like, maybe we should tweak, bring up this or tweak this or highlight this. And it's just giving you feedback essentially on how to answer it in the best way, right? And then the president makes a decision on how he actually wants to answer it. It shouldn't be this like puppeteer game of here's the things that you need to say and here's the people. It's all like a theater show,
Look, I can understand with the press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany having that binder, just going through it. It was even tabbed out and everything. That's a wonderful job. But when it's the president, it needs to be done off the cuff. That's one thing I did like about Trump is when he stood in front of there was no notes or anything. He brought up paper and never looked at it again. Like that was a thing. He never paid attention to his notes, just spoke from his heart.
Yeah, and he shot himself in the foot a couple times, but at the same time, it's like at least he was being, genuine and able to talk without having to have like a teleprompter in front of his face all the time, which sometimes he went off script in those too. But
Mark, no, I don't want a crackhead that throws his guns in a dumpster 100 yards away from a school to be our president.
Mark loves to troll, and he's mad because YouTube he got suspended for like.
Oh no, I've been following his little story too. Yeah, he is.
Shout out Mark Ryan. Go subscribe to him over on Rumble. Mark, are you on Rumble? Let me know.
Yeah, he's on Rumble. Yeah. I could actually throw it up real quick. I got him.
Yeah. Shout out. But yeah, the whole thing is just. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. It definitely is. We can make a joke, we can laugh about it, but it's actually quite worrying. And it's more worrying that they want to run him for re-election. Just admit that he's not capable and he shouldn't do it and pick someone else,
Yeah, they don't want him to run, but he's doing it anyway with this.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans. There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred. That's been the work of my first term.
What, to destroy it? There's nothing more fundamental to America while you destroy it? That's been the work of your... I
haven't seen this yet, and just the freedom. It really took me off guard. Like, it really was like a jump scare. Like, why are we so close?
Hold on. Where is that?
It's just very, like, off-putting and very alarming.
Everything. All right.
It's been the work of my first term to fight for our democracy. This shouldn't be.
Whose democracy, Joe?
To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot.
Except if you're conservative. We do not want to treat all of you MAGA people with respect and equality. You're out of the club.
Extreme MAGA Republicans while I stand in front of a red screen with the military behind me looking like the oldest Hitler on the planet.
Dude, that was like a crazy one, man. That was...
Do y'all remember when he did the... What wasn't that during the debates with him and Trump where he played the great Cornholio thing where he clenched his fist together and started walking like he had a stick up his ass?
I don't know. It's been too long and I can't...
I remember that.
I can't remember.
Oh, no.
I kind of want to go back and watch, like, because I went back like years later and watched the Hillary and Trump debates again and was like, oh, Jesus, because I needed to like reevaluate since I had changed my views. But what I want to know is how many takes did Joe take to do that? You know what's funny is it's probably not even him. They just like AI.
All of these are clips from like press briefings and things that he's done every time he's been in front of a camera. All of these are clips. Like there's like 2 or 3 seconds in this video that's new. Everything
Right,
else,
yeah.
all of these have been edited from something he said before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms. Cutting social...
What I tell you guys? What I tell you? You're not allowed, okay? You're not allowed to be a person if you dare utter... He shook hand... Listen. He shook hands with someone in a red hat. So he is obviously part of the extremist rebellion.
Let's backtrack. Let's backtrack on this a hair.
Democracy. This shouldn't be a red or blue issue. To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it.
And in the next voice.
But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms. Cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy. Dictating what healthcare decisions women can make. Banning books and telling people who they can love.
Are you kidding me?
Bro, nobody's banning a book. It's called restricting books from children's schools, which has been a normal part of our society. Because, you know, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really particularly want, like, you know, porn with graphic depictions of people doing sexual acts in a children's library. In a
No, I don't want it either.
You don't think that's a good call?
Or
me
book,
crazy.
or a book for critical race theory that paints the white man with a devil tail, bringing a black child a contract saying you're a POS just because of your skin color.
Yeah.
That was a thing. That was brought in too, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's so divisive, man. This whole thing, like, it's not a red or blue issue, but we're gonna make sure you guys know who we're talking to. He's the most like, you know, people said Trump was the most divisive president. I actually think it's been Biden.
Yes.
All while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
Hold on. So providing ID is making it more difficult for you to be able to vote. From taking universal mail-in ballots off the table because there is no chain of custody is somehow making it more difficult for you to vote.
They mean that they want to make it more difficult for legitimate voters.
For
man, I messed up my own joke.
Voters.
Yeah, I messed up my own joke, guys. Jeez.
I actually agree, Mark.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election.
By the way, that was the only part of this that didn't come from somewhere else. That's why I'm running for re-election.
We need like
the only new part.
Well, you know, like they freaking, well, the freedom part was part of that too. But you know, they probably filmed like half an hour worth of stuff, and we're like, we have 3 seconds that's useful.
Everything else is chewing on a shove of pressure, and I was on a and calling on a dead woman. That was awesome.
Oh, that one was really sad. That one was like, I don't know. The whole, like, it's easy to make fun of him, but it's like, it actually gets really sad in some moments. Like, I've seen videos like where I'm like, bro, this is cruel. This is like legitimately cruel that he, like, he's had moments where he just looks complete, like he doesn't even know where he's at. He doesn't know what's going on. And it legitimately makes me sad, but that's
like the death stare ones where he's just like,
Yeah, well, like there's like been some where he's like meandering around in a room, and like the room is full of people, and like nobody's helping him, and he clearly just looks very disoriented, and like, ha ha ha, Biden has dementia, but like, no, seriously, like he really seemed like it's not a joke if it's true. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
That's like, I think because it is easy to just, I'm one, I like to have my laughs, I like to make some jokes and stuff, but I also like to be a human sometimes and like make sure I'm, because it is legitimately sad if he really is as bad as he looks to be,
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's had a rough history with all his racism, but it's still kind of feel bad for him.
Dark's right here.
They claim Republicans are banning books. Most books are banned by Democrats, like a pale horse to kill a mockingbird.
Like a pale horse and To Kill a Mockingbird, yes.
Yeah. What's really interesting is also like Huck Finn, because of that one really bad word within it. But the thing about that is those books are used to showcase what it was like back then and what the norm was. And it's actually really important to understand that and to understand how lucky we are today to not be living in times of slavery, segregation, that kind of thing. And that's what really frustrates me is like, they're sitting here saying that it's horrible for us to restrict books from kids' schools that quite literally have adult content. I'm trying to finesse my way around just actually saying it, but
you've already said it once.
Not the word I was thinking of, but yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Did I say the P word?
The books?
P-O?
Yes, you did. When you were talking about the books being banned, you said you didn't want the P word in the books for school. You said it. I wasn't going to bring it up, but yes.
Anyway, I thought I said like sexual acts. Anyway,
no.
It doesn't really matter. Tomato, tomato, potato. Sometimes I forget that, word's bad. So anyway.
I'm glad we're off your channel.
But anyway, my whole freaking point, you're really throwing me off here, bro. Whole point was just the fact that books that actually have historical context that are actually pretty important for young people to read and be aware of and understand fully. Those ones are the Democrats, the ones, that want to take those ones out of schools. But when it comes to, sex acts in schools, that's A-okay.
Yeah.
Wild. Like,
because I know.
Oh.
No, you're fine.
You get, okay.
I know America.
I'm blabbering.
I know we're good and decent people.
I know America.
I know we're still a country that believes in honesty, respect, and treating each other with dignity.
Really?
We're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal.
No, you give it no safe harbor, but you let it run rampant everywhere.
Everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country.
Thank you for choosing us.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment. So if you're with me, go to joebiden.com and sign up. Let's finish this job. I know we can.
All right, I'm done with this. What job are you talking about? Ending the country?
I don't think he's gonna make it to finish the job. No, I think it was a well done video. I will say that much. I'll give him props.
Oh yeah. I give him props for that too. But
they're good with the propaganda, man, and the idea that there's all these people rallying behind Biden. No, bro, these are people who will vote blue no matter who. You tell them, like, if you had a candidate who nobody really knew of, but they had always been like a conservative, and you put them up as a Democrat, people would just vote for them without knowing anything about them, without caring and like it would be like an operative controlled opposition type of deal that Republicans always claim is happening within their group, you know.
I do like this though. Stacy 1199 over here on Rumble says, unlike Cornholio, Biden actually does need TP for his phone call. Yes, he shit his pants in front of the world stage and acted like it didn't happen. And then a few days later, he tells a journalist his butt's been wiped. Like, what?
When did that happen? What?
Oh, you don't remember that? No, he was like talking. It was some kind of like the world. It wasn't the World Economic Forum. It was some kind of like summit, leaders summit or something like that, where he literally shit his pants. They took him out of off the stage, and he came back in different pants, like different colored pants. Like they literally went out and got him some new clothes and shit, and brought him back on.
I don't remember that.
And I know you remember the whole little thing where the reporter asked him a question before he was going to get on his helicopter, and he's like, "My butt's been wiped."
I don't know. I don't think I ever saw anything. I don't remember it. I have a bad memory sometimes, so I might have.
Oh my
it might
God.
have gotten shoved way back in the filing cabinets back here. Hold
on.
But I don't remember that. That happened? What?
Yeah.
What?
Let's see. Hold on. Share this tab. This happened. Why poopy pants Biden memes trended after POTUS meeting with Pope Francis? Because he shit his pants and then came back with different colored pants on.
Look, I'm not even gonna make fun of him because that's actually really sad. That's like super like I'm not gonna make fun of that.
I'm not saying that either, but for him to come back a few days later and tell that reporter after she was asking a question, he's like, "My butt's been wiped." I'm like, dude.
I don't know. No, I can't in good conscience. That's a cross the line for me, for my my moral compass, which may be silly, but that's just like the ultimate worst, embarrassing, horrible thing to happen to you. Like,
Hold on, listen.
What must be what?
That was just a few days later.
no, play it back, play it back, because that could have.
What must be what? What must be what?
That's not what. No,
What
he
must
said.
be what?
That's not what he like. I know it sounds like that, but I don't think that's what he's saying actually in that clip.
They say that with a whole little fact check thing, but I heard my butt's been wiped.
Yeah, but he says it's super weird sounding. I don't think that's real. I don't think it's real.
I know he did.
I'm charitable. I'm very charitable when it needs to be. I don't think that's real. It just
I know you're charitable, but I just no, I can't let that one. I can't. I have to believe that. But after everything this man has done, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I stopped sharing. After everything this man has done, you know, the pulling out of Afghanistan, the inflation, the Infrastructure Act that does absolutely nothing for infrastructure, cutting our oil supplies so low that gas prices went up to over $5 a gallon, and they're increasing again simply because everything that he released from the strategic oil reserve has now come to an end, and we are going back onto the global market for oil. Now we have this. Biden to hike payments for good credit home buyers, subsidize high-risk mortgages. You want to get into this a little bit?
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So home buyers with good credit scores will soon encounter a costly surprise, a new federal rule forcing them to pay higher mortgage fees, higher mortgage rates and fees to subsidize people with riskier credit ratings who are also in the market to buy houses. The fee changes will go into effect May 1st as part of the Federal Housing Finance Agency's push for affordable housing, and they will affect mortgages originating at private banks across the country. Sorry, I have like a The federally backed home mortgage companies Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac will enact the loan level price adjustments, or LLPAs. Mortgage industry specialists say homebuyers with credits. Okay, this is what really got to me. With credit scores of 680 or higher will pay, for example, about $40 per month more on a home loan of $400,000. Homebuyers who make payments of 15% to 20% will get socked with the largest fees. So if you have relatively good credit and you have been responsible and been able to save money, or were lucky enough to have a lump sum of money come into your possession, and you were able to put 15 to 20% down on a house, you are going to be the one penalized for that and have to pay even more for somebody who doesn't have those things. And I have big issue because that's me. This is literally me. And my husband, obviously, but yeah, the new fees will apply only to Americans buying houses or refinancing. Oh, okay, after May 1st. Never mind then.
Yeah, but
I was wrong. Literally wrong after
the interest.
Sentence.
No, it still does go for you, because the interest rates on loans and things like that are still existing has gone up because they want to tackle inflation.
Well, I would assume, yeah. Well, and it says right here, refinancing. That's a key word. So anyone who refinances after May 1st is going to be pretty screwed when it comes to this particular thing. But I think that if you already have a mortgage, then I don't think you're in it. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it, I guess. Because I read through that article, but I didn't catch that part.
The only way that this is not going to affect anybody at all is if you have a fixed rate mortgage. Okay, but that wasn't long after the housing crisis. So anybody that buys now, I mean, you can roll off into that, but there are an exorbitant amount of fees for that go along with that. If you refinance because you need to have money to pay for things, you're affected by this now too. So yeah.
Yeah, well, and refinancing right now would be really dumb, honestly.
Yes.
If you can avoid it, do so, because the mortgage rates and stuff and the interest rate, they're just so crazy. They're so crazy right now. And we had refinanced on our house a couple years ago or something, basically right before all this happened, and got a lower rate. So we're really excited about that one, especially now.
Business Party on Rumble says, "Thanks for giving me good credit, white people."
It's just so frustrating to me that responsible people are now being punished for being responsible. So what happens when you're punished for doing the right thing? You're probably not going to do the right thing in the future, and everyone seeing that you're being punished for doing the right thing will have no incentive to follow in your footsteps.
No, there is no reason to be doing anything or being fiscally responsible anyway, because the more fiscally responsible you are, the more you have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, wasn't that the whole thing of tax the rich? Well, now the rich are people who are trying to become rich and trying to do things responsibly with their money. You are now the rich.
Yeah, what's funny is the whole idea of tax the rich and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, it's a nice catchy slogan for you there. But when you actually start breaking down who that entails, they think of it as, oh, it's the millionaires and billionaires in the US. But if you actually look at the top, what is it? The top 1% of globally, it's middle class is within the top 1% globally.
And pretty much every American almost falls into that point.
Yeah, and I went. It depends on where you're at. Middle class is a weird category, honestly, because it's a huge range, and it depends on where you're at per state. I think there's some states where middle class is like $40,000 a year, or it's 40 to 200 grand a year, basically. That's middle class, just lower and upper and all those silly things. But yeah, basically anybody who And I don't know. It's just weird. The thresholds are weird. But anyway, I think it's pretty ridiculous to penalize homeowners in this way.
Yeah, the middle class is anybody who can live roughly comfortable to anybody who almost makes what 300, 400,000 a year. There is a real big range into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's most of America. So yeah, we are. When they say tax the rich, they're talking about us. You think they're talking about the millionaires and billionaires? No, they're talking about us. But yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is like, I don't know, like the middle class pay like the middle class pay like the majority of all the taxes, like but like the lowest income brackets like pay like nothing ever. And I don't know, like when people talk about like socialism, like implementing a socialist system similar to what what's the most popular country? I'm like blanking right now, really bad. Sweden and Norway and like those places, like the those types of systems. But over there, it's a much different like mentality. They're tiny in comparison. They're mostly homogenous. They all agree on everything, and everyone is working in order to split their part of the bill, so to speak. But here, the mindset is the people up here work so that the people down here don't have to. But in reality, like that's like the goal is like, well, the rich people, the richest of the country should pay for everybody else. When in reality, it ends up just making everybody else poor. Like that, it doesn't make any sense. People aren't actually advocating for like what they have over there. They keep saying that they are, but in reality, like you have a completely different mindset when it comes to that sort of thing. Like they want everyone to work. They encourage everyone to work, but you're encouraging people to not work by incentivizing like, government assistance and stuff like that. And people love to act like there are people who get help who are good people and they are working and they're trying their best and they don't want to be on that help forever. But there's a whole lot of people who aren't like that. And yeah. I grew up with a lot of them.
But then again, there also is a problem with that as well, because when I was homeless, I went to get food stamps. And I was literally told by the woman, because I am a male, yes, I am homeless, but I am a male with no kids, I don't get any assistance at all. But yet a female that is in the same position, homeless and no kids, would get the minimum amount.
Yeah, I can actually attest to that, because when I was like 18, I was homeless and no kids, single female, could easily work. But yeah, I was able to get like I don't know, the minimum of like food monies. But yeah, and that is interesting, like why. But it also causes this problem where like people don't realize this, but like you can work if you're getting assistance, but if you make over a certain amount, you won't qualify anymore. So a lot of people will work until they see themselves making about that range, and then they'll quit, or they'll go work under the table, or they'll go, or they'll stop just long enough and be out of work just long enough that they can, still qualify, and they'll get a job later on, and that sort of thing. That is a very real thing that happens. And it's because it's, it's just that it basically traps people. I'm not saying like people are so evil and horrible, but it literally traps you within the system of, well, if I make too much money, I'm not going to get the help that I need, but I need this help, so I don't want to make this much money. But if you just kept working, you wouldn't need that help. You know what I mean? Like it's this double-edged sword of like, I need help, but I have to stay poor to get the help. Like,
yeah, there is a huge problem with that. Captain Crunch over here on Rumble says, "Can you guys tell me why each chatter is in a different color? I'm new to Rumble. I'm used to chatting on YouTube." Boo. It's actually, I like it, because I can look at the chat real quick and see the colors of people's names and know these are different people talking. But yeah, that's the reason why it's done. It's the same way on Twitch too. On Twitch, you can edit your colors. I don't know if you can do that on Rumble, but it just helps to differentiate between the views of who's talking.
I didn't know that either, so thank you for providing that answer.
But let's roll off into this difficult thing now. I made a deal with Ashley behind the scenes here. I'm starting to see a different side of this. I was going through all of this last night, just to wrap my head around this whole thing, to try and make sense of every bit of it. And I started to see a different picture that I don't think anybody else is bringing up. So she's going to share her thoughts. I will give you my thoughts on it. I will give a little bit of feedback here and there and things like that. But she's going to give you her thoughts on this. And next week, when I actually have time to sit down and lay it all out for you, I'm going to give you my thoughts. And I'm actually going to do it in a segment. I'm going to call it tinfoil time. I'm going to wear a tinfoil hat and all, so you all know it's some weird things. But it is disturbing looking. Y'all watch out for that next weekend. But let's roll off into this. As a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and play the whole video real quick. I'm going to hit the bathroom while this plays, too. I got a headset, so.
Because I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary of abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do rightful things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There is no groceries. I do have
steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? How do you man? Receive love and respect. No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Stephen,
you're not taking the car.
Stephen,
you are not.
Then I will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Stephen.
Give it an Uber.
Okay, Stephen, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Stephen.
Like, I can't
Stephen.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Stephen.
Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you're going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Stephen.
The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline and respect.
Stephen.
Yeah. There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Stephen.
Hillary,
Stephen?
you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Stephen, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Stephen, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. You need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. It's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
Okay. So there's lots of stuff in there. I'm gonna be as charitable as possible with this one, okay? And a lot of people keep saying we shouldn't be talking about Crowder's divorce and personal life and yada, yada, yada. Well, it's out there now. So he's the one who announced his divorce. He's the one who kind of brought this on himself. Although there were rumors swirling about it prior to him announcing it, because I had seen it the day before. Other people had seen tweets come up about it, but he could have just let that swirl, and just dealt with that. But he's the one who kind of made this statement. And in my opinion, threw his wife under the bus, because he could have done it in such a way like, yes, I'm getting divorced. It's nobody's fault. This is what we're choosing to do. And please respect our privacy during this time. That it could have, or just, we're getting a divorce. Please respect our privacy. Please don't talk about it. We don't want to talk about it publicly until it's resolved. That could have been a very easy thing. But what he did instead was essentially blame his wife for the whole thing and act like she is leaving. Just because she wants to, which I have problems with. Because then when you see this, I'm not one to just go straight to, oh, he's a horrible POS abusive, blah, 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 blah. I'm not really one to, they're having like a million different fights right now of things that have obviously been points of contention for a while. And I think it's hard. I've been in a relationship for 12 years. So essentially the entire time that they they get married or got together in 2012. I think I read, I guess I'm not sure which one, if they got together or got married in 2012, but I've been in a relationship since 2011. So basically the whole time. And I will say, when you have points of contention that add up over time, you can be arguing about something that's very surface level, but it has deeper meaning essentially, right? Which I'm sure I'm sure anybody who's been in a relationship for a really long time, been married for a really long time, there's stuff like that. There's stuff that just keeps coming up and you keep fighting about it over and over. You keep having the same argument over and over. And it might be triggered by different things. Now, all of that being said, I think the video is also edited in weird places where he starts, he's saying something and you would think it would be her response and then it cuts. And I had a lot of issues with that. And I even asked, I tweeted at which I got hounded on Twitter for daring to ask why the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The most incriminating part of the video is not there. And there's no audio included, which is the end, the I will F you up part. But there's no proof of that. We're just doing source trust me, bro, on that one, right?
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, and that bothers me, okay? Because this reporter is the only one who has this information, right? There's been no corroborating evidence. There's been no other, he didn't release the audio and I asked him why. I said, why isn't this part, and I screenshot part of the article. I said, why is this part not included? Why is there no evidence for this? People immediately went, oh, you're defending him. No, I'm asking you a question because I can look at this video and go, yeah, he's completely out of line. He's completely out of line with the way he's speaking to his wife. He literally told her, I don't love you. That's pretty messed up. I don't think as mad as my husband and I have ever been at each other, I don't think that's ever came out of either one of our mouths, not once. And that's just the thing. He crossed a lot of boundaries there and he crossed a lot of lines. But the leaving out that part of it, because that takes it from he's crossing boundaries, he's crossing lines and how he's speaking, to that would be a physical threat, right? That's my issue, is that's the most incriminating part. And we have no actual proof that happened. And then people are saying, well, Crowder admitted to it. He admitted. Yeah, and the reporter is also just saying that. He's just saying the things he reviewed that's what happened. And I'm just not one, because I know that if you've been with somebody for a really long time and somebody cut 3 minutes out of a fight that you had been having, it would look really bad for somebody or both of you. And I think the thing is he's crossing a lot of boundaries, but who's to say that she hasn't also crossed boundaries? He's also, that's what frustrates me the most. It's like, I can watch this and be like, this is not okay. But we also do not have the full picture. We do not have the full context. Her body language is kind of concerning to me. She's very anxious. She's very like, she keeps trying to leave. She keeps saying, I'm going to disengage. He mocks her. He continues to pick at her and go after her. And all of these things, like there's all these like little nuances where I'm like, like who's the aggressor, right? Is like, because you can like, and there's a lot of times where like you could start a fight and maybe just be like, okay, this is like, I didn't mean to like do this, or I didn't mean for it to get, you know, this heated or whatever. And then be like, okay, I'm going to disengage and I want to walk away. And the other, now you've got the other person riled up and they want like, so it's just really difficult. And, you know, I like Crowder. But the thing is like, yeah, obviously not okay, bro. And he didn't really deny this on his like last statement, right? Like that was the other part that really bothered me about this, is like, he could have come out, and said, you know, that video, that he said it was edited deceptively, right? And he said that he, made mistakes and yada, yada, but he actually didn't deny saying, I will F you up. So to me, after seeing that part of it, it's like, well, he probably did say that then. And then now he's threatening to you know, he said he moved to unseal all the records and mental health checks and stuff. So it's like, okay, are you going to try to make your wife look crazy instead of just admitting that, like, yeah, I've said some really messed up stuff that I should have never, ever come out of my mouth, and I take account. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I'm like, and I'm just kind of going through this as I saw all this information. It's like, you know, you see his statement on the divorce, you see this video, you see his next statement, and none of it looks good. Like,
no,
I don't necessarily think he's like, I don't think he's being physically, you know, just based off of what we know. I don't think that's what's happening. I think he's definitely doing some emotional manipulation for sure. But what really sucks is that everybody just is very, very quick to just jump to immediate side and go, he's a horrible, horrible person, and she's the victim, and all of these things, right?
Right.
But I know that there are men who are good men who, you know, can do really shitty stuff, can do really bad stuff, you know, depending on mental health stuff going on. Like maybe Crowder's super freaking depressed and he's taking that out in anger, and he's crossing boundaries in a way that's not okay because he feels so, you know what I mean? Like it's like he's got a lot of eyes on him. He's the target of all this criticism all the time. He's got all this pressure. He's now, like, in this clip, he's about to have 2 babies, which puts a lot of pressure on anybody. I don't think people realize how much becoming a father can put pressure on a man, and then you have 2 at the same time. That's a lot to deal with. So it's just one of those things. Like, that's just, I just keep coming back to, it's not okay. I completely disavow how he is acting towards his very pregnant wife. That's the other part that kind of, sorry, and I'm like really taking, like, I'm just really ranting on this one, but I just had
go ahead, lay it all out.
I had so many thoughts, and like, the problem is there's people on 2 different sides with the whole pregnancy thing. People are like, just because she's pregnant doesn't mean blah, blah, blah. Well, she's pregnant with twins, and she's 8 months pregnant with twins. And for him to sitting here saying, go walk the dog, like, bro, I couldn't do that. Like, I have twins, if anybody didn't know that. And when I was 27 weeks pregnant, I went into preterm labor. I had my twins 10 weeks early, but when in between, like, I was in the hospital for like a week, I got discharged and was able to get out. But I had to, like, just to go to the grocery store, I had to ride like a little scooter around because I wasn't allowed to walk that far. Like, I literally was not allowed to walk. And she's like 8 months pregnant. So I was only like almost 7 months pregnant when that happened to me, you know, like, and she's much farther along. I think she did have complications during her pregnancy too, that, you know, twins are just automatically high risk. So that's completely just, again, I think it's just, these are a lot of different fights that are all happening at once and points of contention that have probably been happening for a long time, and they're hitting a breaking point, but he's being completely unreasonable in telling her to walk the dog or be around medication that could not be safe for her during pregnancy. And just the way he's like like, I don't know, just the way he's talking, it's like he's just being completely unreasonable, and she's trying to disengage the whole time. So yeah, I think he's probably just in the wrong in this instance, and perhaps there's a toxic element within their whole relationship, but we don't know that. We just don't know. It could have just been, it could have been the pinnacle of their fighting, not, you know, like, and then they got a divorce after. Who fucking knows?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you my take on this, but before I do, Mark Ryan says, I don't have a ring, so I don't know for sure, but I'm a conspiracy theorist. I heard Ring doesn't hold video for 2 years. No, there is a limit to how much they hold, so the fact that this just now surfaced, I mean, this was back in what, August of something? August of 21? Something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So no, this would have already been deleted had it not been for, and I wasn't going to go ahead and bring this up at all, but it would have been deleted had it not been for the filing date, 12/7 of 2021. Okay.
Yeah, this was already pulled for court use well before this.
Yes.
People aren't paying attention to the timeline whatsoever.
But as soon as it loads back up again, here we go. I want to preface this by saying, first off, this does not look good on Crowder in any way. I mean, this does make him look like a big piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when you actually sit there and think about it, there's a lot more behind the scenes that we're not getting. Number one, why did the video just start there? Where did this come from? What started this? Because all these things, okay, walk the dog. You're not doing your wifely duties. Okay, this dude, he's trying to run a company. Okay, he pays for everything out front. Even when he was on the Blaze, he paid for his people. He paid for the production. He paid for everything. So he is not as rich as you guys think he is. The whole $50 million from Daily Wire. Well, a lot of the budget.
He got plenty of money. He's got plenty of money.
He's got money, but he's not as rich as everybody plays like it is. The $50 million did not go into his pocket. The $50 million would have covered everything else.
Yeah.
That was the point of contention for him is, okay, you're giving me 12.5 a year, but I spend roughly close to $10 million a year producing my show.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he's got money. He's not destitute. He's not broke.
No. But when he's going out there and he's making all this money and doing all these things, she's doing absolutely nothing at home. Okay, so
but you don't know that.
I don't.
You
don't. But hold on.
Fucking pregnant.
Hold on. Stop.
Okay, sorry.
The whole walking the dog thing. How long has she been putting that off? Joe Lewis sits there. If he's not in with Louder with Crowder, which he does show on camera when Joe Lewis is in the office, or he mentions Joe Lewis in a way. If he's not there, he's with her. How long has she been saying, okay, while you're out doing your thing, while you're spending all this time at work, I don't feel like walking the dog today. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Even though I've been spending 10, 12, 14 hours at work, fine. I'll walk the dog too. Fine. I'll do the dishes too. Fine. I'll clean up the house too. How long has this been put off? Because that's his point of contention with that. It's not like that point just came up right then and there. I guarantee that.
Yeah, but also we can't create a whole backstory that we have no idea if it did
exactly.
Exist.
But that's what I was talking about with the very beginning of this is where did this come up from? Why is this just now that part? Because there was probably a lot more in that argument that would paint him in a better picture than it would with her.
Well, I think
and especially with the fact that it's highly edited. Now, I want to get into this real quick. Hold on.
You first. Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes. How do you man? I'm a man.
I want to know what he's actually saying right here because we can't really hear it that well, and I don't think it's what is the subtitles are.
I can hear that. That's exactly what I was going to get into a little bit here. I can hear him say, "The other man you see."
I'm a man. You see the mother comes back.
I don't know if it's the mother comes back, but look,
or your mother
in the edited, in the subtitles, it says no.
No. I don't know.
What is she saying right there? Because no was not her words. Absolutely not. There was way more than what she said.
Well, he
what
says
she said.
no. He says no.
Then what was her answer to that then? What did she say? Why was there no subtitles to that? Because you can't really make out what she says. Why was there no subtitles to that?
I think that it's all very. It looks. I mean, it all is bad. Like there's no way around that, right? He's out of line, but the way that there's no.
Oh yes, I will agree with that. He's definitely out of line with the shit.
He's out of line in the way he's speaking to his wife and telling her he doesn't love her and putting her down, like the whole wifely duties thing. That's what's really irritating me about, like, there's some conservative men who are like, well, she should be doing her part. Yeah. And do you think that going up to your wife and going, you're not doing your wifely duty, do you think that's a productive way to get your
God, no.
like to request something of your wife and say, hey, I see that you've just been having trouble lately. Like, that's the thing, is like, bro, if you guys listen to me, okay, men, listen to me. If you have an issue with something that your wife is doing or not doing, do not, like, yelling at her. It's not going to make her be like, oh yes, sir. Like, let me,
no, it's definitely not.
Yeah, like walking up and just doing like a check-in, right? And be like, hey, I've been noticing that this stuff is like laundry is piling up. Are you just having a hard time getting to it? Is there something going on? Like, how can we make sure that this gets done? Because this is something that bothers me personally, And I think like, I understand, and I'm not perfect. I'm not freaking perfect. That's for sure.
I'm sorry. As long as it's washed and dried, even we will even forget that it's in the washer sometimes. But I'm of the mindset, I don't care if it's hung up or put away, because I'm just going to use it and throw it back in the washer and dryer. So as long as it's out of the way, I'm happy.
It was just an example I used, because there's
I know, I get it.
There's a million different things that happen inside a relationship, and people have different, points of contention. People have different things that just like gets under your skin. And that's the thing too, is like, there's times where like your spouse may be doing something or not doing something over and over and over and over, and you just like keep it within you. And then like all of a sudden one day it just like you've had a bad day, you feel like crap, and it just gets to you and you just kind of blow up about it, like everybody has those moments, right? But I think, I don't know. It's just the combination of like her being pregnant, him being really, really crappy. The body language is like, he's like sitting, leg up. A lot of people had a lot of issues with him smoking a cigar. He's outside, like whatever. He's not smoking and blowing it right in her face. Like, calm down. But I think her body language is really telling. The way like he mocks her, and he, but I love you, my love, like that kind of thing. Like, that's a very demeaning thing to do to your partner. I think, honestly, I just think that we're just watching the end of a relationship. We're watching a relationship that has been, more than 10 years. I'm going to tell you guys, like, you've been with someone for more than 10 years, that there's stuff that comes up and it can make or break you, and it's just that type of thing that you have to learn how to work through it and move forward and put your past grievances behind you and try to do the best. But this interaction seems like they are unable to do so, and as a result have become very toxic and should not be together any longer, because it's very clear they're not willing to work it out. Now, if more information comes out that shows Steven acting in, because that's the thing too, is like, if more comes out and it shows that she is also partaken in like the toxicity, then they're like, it's not like he's vindicated. It just shows that she was just as shitty as he was. Like, it doesn't, there's no like winning. There's no winning for Crowder out of this. So I think like this attempt to be like, I'm going to release all the court records, it's more so him trying, like floundering to try to get his reputation back, because it's now been ruined and it's tarnished forever. And that's a wrap. So,
no. I'm gonna save that for next week. I think there is a deeper thing to that. And you guys are, while I go through this here, you're gonna get a little preview about what I want to bring to the table about this whole thing. Now, before I get into this next little part for this, I want y'all to remember this was back in August of 2021 or something like that. What was happening around that time? How many times did Tim Pool get swatted, or Jeremy Hambley, or anybody? Wasn't there a story about a guy who supposedly was keeping kids locked up in his house, and then Black Lives Matter set his house on fire? Fire department came out, put it out. The crowd stayed there to light his house back on fire while he was inside of it. And then he grabbed a shotgun and pointed out the window, and the cops arrested him. That was during that time too. Okay, now keep that in mind, because I want you all to...
None of that is relevant.
It is relevant, because keep that in mind. I want you all to remember this dude, his house, the only thing people really knew about him was his studio. His house location was never really a known thing. Everybody who knew it kept it quiet. Okay? So, I want to hit this real quick.
You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're gonna take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
See, no, this.
No.
Right there,
hold up.
No.
Okay. Let me say this.
Okay.
That right there. He's like, I can't be home. Literally, he knows. He understands what's happening. He knows all this is getting out there. He knows that this footage and everything that's in these cameras, he knows his wife is putting in the divorce and everything. He knows all this is happening. So if any of this footage... Ashley, let me paint this fucking picture real quick, because yes, he does. I guarantee
it's not accurate. Okay, go ahead.
He knows this because there are things he has led on to other videos before any of this came out, before the whole mention of it came out. He addressed it. He addressed it the next day after you had sent me that little divorce thing, because he knew all this was coming out. The Substack and everything, he knew it. So he addressed it immediately. Yes, he knew these things. He knows what they have. He knows this has been building up for a minute. So this whole I can't be home right now is probably because all this information was released, and there are things that could put him and his family at risk. Because he does address that. He says, this is for the safety of my kids.
That's not okay. But that doesn't make sense. Like, in this context right here, he's that's not he's spinning this situation. She wants to leave, which a lot of people are like, why do you have one car? Yeah, okay.
That is a good question. I mean, maybe the other was in the shop. I don't know, but the man probably should have had a few more.
Yeah, it seems weird. But that's a way. Okay, so right there, what's happening is like he's just flipping it on her, and she wants to leave. She wants to get out of the situation. He doesn't want her to leave. For whatever reason, which is really weird, because he's like, go get pellets and steaks, but don't leave, but don't, like, it doesn't make, because I think what's happening, he's just not making any sense because he's angry. So he's just spouting a bunch of crap, because no, it doesn't. He wasn't saying
don't leave. He wasn't saying don't leave. He was saying don't take the car. So if anything happens, I can get the fuck out of here myself.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any, so you're gonna make your wife, your pregnant wife, get in an Uber with a stranger over yourself doing that.
That's a bad situation too. Yeah. Honestly, he should have gone.
What doesn't make the most sense, okay, is how he says, I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. He said that. I can't.
Yeah, he did say that. That's weird.
That doesn't make any sense. You are at home currently. None of this is logical thought. That's
why I'm saying with
None
the whole
of this part is logical thought. And I think the only reason that he said anything publicly is maybe you're right. Maybe he didn't know that they had all this and that they were talking to a journalist Probably not, though. They probably aren't talking in that sense, or I don't think anybody's threatening that behind the scenes. I highly doubt that. I think what happened was that even if this is a it was a preemptive strike. Crowder is smart. He's not an idiot, right? So if he acted,
I'm not laying all the blame on him though for any of this, because I guarantee you the way he's sounding, like this stuff's been building up for a minute, and going back through everything, putting everything into perspective, I think he's worried about this shit leaking out. He doesn't care about the whole divorce thing going on. No, he cares about the fact that you give this information out, you want to make a hit piece and everything, you're putting our location at risk. And what's going on in this country right now? People are getting swatted. People are getting attacked. People are getting firebombed. And he is the biggest name in the conservative movement at this point in time.
Where's the location at?
I don't know.
If this is putting the location, where is it at? That doesn't make any sense, dude. How do you know where their location is at? And
how does it not make any sense when the dude literally has his address? He has the camera footage from every fucking camera in there. He can pinpoint the location just by looking around and Google mapping everything.
You realize that
what do you mean he doesn't know?
Crowder's not at this home.
Yes, he bought he bought another place in Florida, or not Florida. No, that was Tucker. He bought another place. He got another flat to get away from all of this.
He got a place and then financially locked his pregnant or his wife who had just had 2 babies out, which is really messed up too. I don't care who you are. I'm kind of sick of this whole. I'm kind of sick of this whole women are just out to get all your money in a divorce. No.
Whoa! Hold on. I heard that. I heard that even with the headphones off. I never made that contention.
No, I'm not saying you did, but a lot of other people are. And I want to make this point is that these people have been together for over a decade and you're going to act like, oh, she's just leaving him to get his money. No, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt she's just leaving him to get his money to take when she just had 2 babies. You're not really in the place to be like, yeah, I'm going to just take advantage of this guy and steal all his money. And after we literally just had children together, like that's not anything. That's what's happened. It just irritates me because I can look at this and go, he is in the wrong. There could be more to the story. She could also have been very volatile towards him as well. And it's conveniently cut out of this, but he is not living up to who he should be as a husband, as a father. When you move out and you leave your wife in the home that you both share and you completely financially cut her off, which she has no way to go to work because she's trying to take care of 2 children. You know, I think that's actually a pretty shitty thing to do. And
definitely.
And she's not anywhere near her family because she's from Michigan. Holla. But you know, there's just so many parts of this that like are actually really important to talk about. And it's really important for conservative men to acknowledge that he is like, this is not okay. This is not okay. The things that he is doing. And he's kind of unless she's like beating him with frying pans, okay? But like, I don't think that's probably not, not happening.
I will admit when you saw that episode too, but we were sitting there. I was waiting for the community notes thing to start up, and somebody said that Crowder's he just wants a traditional marriage, and he just put his foot down in this. And I made the contention, no, this is not a traditional marriage. Yeah, it is. This is what it's supposed to. All right, look, traditional marriage from what you're talking about is the men go out, they bring home the bacon, they get the money, they get the everything for that. They protect their wives with their lives. They protect their family with their lives. The women do everything else. They do the cooking, the cleaning. They make sure the bills are paid. They take care of everything at home. That is a traditional marriage by conservative standards. Yes, this is what you think he's advocating for in this. But I make the contention he wants it, but there's a lot more at play here, especially with the time frame, especially with what was going on, all the things that were going on in 2021 with him and YouTube and the Blaze and everything like that. At this point, he already knew he was going to leave the Blaze.
Yeah.
At this point, that was already going on.
Again, I think Crowder has a lot of pressure on him, and it probably put him into a depression. And so he's making bad choices and he's being really selfish and he's acting selfishly because it's very possible it's very possible for a good man to be corrupted in a sense by just a lot of stuff going on. And
Correct.
men tend to act out their emotions through anger. It's the easiest way
Yes.
to do so. It's just kind of the go-to.
And it's the only one that doesn't make you look like a bitch.
It makes you look like a psychopath, that's for sure. But where women, we act out our emotions through being a bit more emotional and crying and maybe perhaps being hysterical at moments, for sure. Whereas men get just volatile and aggressive and all of that. And it's just one of those things. Like, so I'm very sorry that you had to go through that. I don't really want to read that, but a guy who says, watch it makes me feel like he is a wife beater. You can't say that, man. I mean, like, you can say that, like, freedom of speech and all that, but like, in my opinion, I'm not like, that's like a step up, right? It's like, it's one thing to be like an emotionally manipulative asshole, right? But to say that just because from one statement that we hear here, to say, oh, he must be beating his wife. I'm not going to say that. I just can't.
No.
I can't jump to that conclusion, because that could be more along the lines of like, he's like, this is my, like, it's like there's something going on there. Cause like in the beginning of the clip, they're talking about abusive behavior, right? So he's like, it could be, you could be right. It could be a sign of physical hostility, right? But it could also be him saying, just watch it. Just you're pissing me off. You're crossing a line. That could be a common thing that he says when he's angry and doesn't want somebody to keep going. And like, I don't know. But I don't know. I just come back to like, bro, like, he could be a good guy who's acting completely horribly, or he could just be a horrible person. And he's been lying this whole time, and he's been putting up this act of like, this is how strong men are, and blah, blah, blah. The thing about it is in a marriage, a marriage should be a partnership. It shouldn't be like, the idea that people have of traditional marriage is so far-fetched from what it actually should be. And it just bugs me.
You are correct, but I want to hit this little point too, right here. And this is what really raised my eyebrows to the whole thing of, wait, this isn't 2021. This is when all the attacks were happening. This was when political violence was really starting to ramp up at this point in time.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either.
Okay, I'll be back when I'm back. I get it. She wants to get away. She wants to get her time. Okay, but if they only actually do have one car, and it is possible for people now to know where he is, people will come attack him. There are crazy ass people out there. You have to understand that. You have to admit that. I mean, the firebombing crisis pregnancy centers so they can kill babies, Ashley.
What? No, but this doesn't make any sense. Like, what are you talking?
What am I talking about? If his address gets released and all these people fucking hate him, do you think there's going to be a mob at his front door or not?
Good. Pull it back.
That's what I'm getting at. The fact that he's like, okay, look, I need the car just in case something fucking happens. You want to take it. You're not going to tell me when you're going to be back. Just like Fat Gorilla. Okay, oops, he can get an Uber. Are you going to call an Uber while there's a mob at your front door?
Dude.
No.
Okay. Hey, calm down. Right? Calm down.
No, I'm not upset. I'm just trying. You're just like, no, this can't be. This can't be. This is exactly what the hell I'm bringing up with this. It is a thing. This would have happened. Do not for a second think that if his address was released, there wouldn't have been a mob to come after that man the moment they caught on. How many doxing incidents have happened? Do not for a second.
Okay, I'm about to sign off, because if you're going to keep going and you're not going to let me, this doesn't make any sense. What you're saying right now doesn't make sense in the context of who is in 2021, who is releasing his address during this fight in that moment. What do you mean by that?
What do I mean by that?
Yeah,
where do you think the information would have come from?
Filing date in December. What do you like?
I'm not that was just highlighted from when we were talking.
Okay.
Things like this would release everything, including address you live.
Okay. But in the moment that the video was being recorded, none of that had happened. So
he had already got a lawyer himself. He had already started talking to a divorce lawyer. He had already gotten that flat, that all.
Yeah,
not
so
creating that.
She's the one who wanted out of his marriage, and then he cut her off, and so she was like, "Okay, fine, I'm gonna go file."
And what I'm saying is, in that instant, when he is talking about that, yes, this information could get out there. This is part of the reason why I think there is more to the story. Why did it start
You're
there?
just creating that out of thin air, though.
I may be him. I may be him. But if I were him, I would be worried about that. That would be my biggest concern is, okay, so people could find out where I live. There's a lot of political violence going on right now, and you're going to leave me at home with nowhere to go.
You're okay. I mean, that's just a selfish way of looking at it, because like my biggest concern, if I was a man with a pregnant wife, would be, hey, honey, I don't actually want you to leave the house. And like that, if
which
that's
is why I said he should have gone too.
But like, I don't know, the thing that you're trying to say that he's worried about political, but there's no indication of that. And there's no reason to create a whole story that doesn't exist. There's no indication that he's worried about anything. It's very clear the way he's talking is he's throwing a temper tantrum.
In the moment. This is why I said I want to do my little thing next week with this too, because there is a lot in the background that if you look at it if you're looking at what they say now, every single person in this, every single one, Candace Owens, Steven Crowder, they're saying things that allude to other things. They both done it. And this has been boiling up for a minute. As a matter of fact, let me hit this one. Let's get into his little thing. This was before anything was ever known. This was his moment. This was literally, I sent you this. You sent me the little court filing. I sent you this the day after.
I have been living with a proverbial boot on my neck for going on years now. Since 2021, I've been living through what has increasingly been a horrendous divorce. Now, let me say on the outset, to be clear, there is no infidelity, any kind of physical abuse at all on either side. And no, this was not my choice. My then wife decided that she didn't want to be married anymore. And in the state of Texas, that is...
He was the one that went to a lawyer first, yes.
Mm-hmm. So it's a lie.
But did she say she wanted a divorce first, or did he? It doesn't matter who went first. It was no matter who said first.
Just like you have no idea why he didn't want her to take the car. And
you're right. Hold up.
He's worried about his address getting leaked at a later date when that wasn't even part of. Like, there's no indication. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any fucking sense, man. I'm gonna bring it.
I told you this is where we're gonna come to a point of contention, because I'm thinking of the outside broader picture instead of in that moment.
No, I think you're trying to tie a bunch of things together that have no business being tied together. His personal crumbling of his life does not mean like that there's any other. That there's any big.
I'm not. Hold up. Whoa. It means that, I'm like, his personal crumbling of his life. That's not what I'm arguing in the first place. I'm arguing he's worried about more things than just that at that moment. And the fact, yes, he did go to a lawyer first. Yes, he did get another place to live. Yes, there is every indication that he was fed up and he wanted it to end too. I do not disagree with that. I will say, what he just said was a lie. But I'm asking, I'm not trying to bring up any stipulations. I'm asking, who said what first? Because if my wife came to me and said, I want a divorce, well, right then and there, that marriage is done. No matter how long it's dragged out, no matter how much we try to fight to keep it together, the marriage is done right then and there. We could salvage it, yes. But to me, that's when our marriage is done. Legally? No. Emotionally? Yes. So who was the first one? That's what I'm asking. I'm not pointing fingers at any person with that.
Okay. My whole point. Okay. I don't want to watch this whole 5-minute clip. But my whole point is that we can't craft a narrative just for the sake of doing so. Like, this might be because we don't know, and we'll probably know more because, again, depending on what happens next week. I feel like I don't want to keep harping on somebody else's like relationship though, because again, there's just no indication other than he's being controlling and emotionally manipulative in that clip.
In that clip, yes.
Yeah.
And he probably has been for a long time. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
Yes, I guarantee you he has been.
Yeah. So without more information, I'm just going to kind of leave it as Crowder is obviously pretty shitty at the end of his marriage, and it could have looked completely different at the beginning. But after years of things happening and, depending on the parties involved, if nobody is willing to work on those issues, they just get worse and worse and worse. And you end up having these like pivotal moments, of like just a million little tiny fights that have added up over time, and it becomes big fights.
Yes.
And you get, and people say really horrible, nasty things to each other at the end of relationships like this. So I think that's where I'm kind of at. It's just, like he could still not be like, it could just be a really bad relationship, a really bad circumstance. He could be a complete total psycho. Who knows? We don't know without more information. So that's where I'm at. He could be a psycho. He could not be a psycho. We have no idea. We don't. No, you're right. So he's definitely being really horrible and says some really horrible things to his wife. It's very precious.
Yes, definitely. And the fact that she was 8 months pregnant and this happened, it is a bad look. Because I'd have been like, look, as much as I am quick to anger, I need to put this on the back burner. I would do that myself. And the fact that this actually happened, I'm not giving him any credit for this. And I'm not going to give him any leeway. Yes, that was a shit move, dude. That was a dick move for you to do that. And it looks incredibly bad. But I'm not going to be the one to, just because this comes out with edit after edit after edit, and then Candace Owens attack right after that. No, I got bigger questions. And like I said, I'm doing the little tinfoil time next week, and I'm going to lay all this out. But I think there's a bigger picture going on. And I think this is something that just, it does work in a very fucked up way. And it's meant to for this. But yeah. For my thoughts on this, look, Crowder is, I'm going to be honest. You want to talk about traditional law. You speak about this. You speak out about it getting no fault divorce and everything like that. Dude, from what we can see looking on the outside, it does not look like you are speaking up about, or you were living what you speak about. It's kind of like the Jack Murphy incident or the Eliza Blue incident. If you're going to be a big name, what you say on record should be what you live. If it doesn't, there's a huge vibe and there's a lot of hypocrisy in that. And if this is not what you were living, well, you've been the best grifter I've ever seen in my life, because you've built a business off grifting. And that's amazing. I mean, so did Jack Murphy, but that wasn't really a business per se. That was just people giving him money to say, hey, don't stick things in your butt on camera. Yeah.
No,
but
I think if you're gonna preach a whole lot of values and principles and stuff like that, you should be doing your best to live up to that. Not everyone is perfect, but obviously there was some serious things going on that he wasn't living up to that. And just the fact that, I don't know, I just don't. If you're a man, you're not going to sit there and say, you're not doing your wifely blah, blah, blah. Like, you're going to go to your wife and be like, hey, what's going on? And the fact he's not doing that leads me to believe he's probably got stuff going on that's making him act out in a really, really horrible way. Because
yes, it is making him act out. But my whole thinking is, how long has this been going on to push somebody to that point? Because I guarantee you this wasn't just that right there. Like, that exploded at that point.
I don't really care about like I do care
I don't
about it
either.
and stuff, like, but it's more along the lines of like there's lines you just don't cross, and you're gonna sit
Yes.
there and say I don't receive love. You're gonna sit there and say I don't love you, and I don't receive love from you. Like you just told her you don't love her. Why would she ever want to do anything for you? Like that's just messed up. Like that's the problem is that. And that's what I have problems with when it comes to like not you, you've never preached this, but there's men who preach about submission and stuff like that. Well, if you want anybody to submit, if you want to be the leader, you have to fucking act like one. And this is not how a leader acts. It's not how the leader of a family acts. It's not how the leader of a relationship acts. You're supposed to treat situations with care and love and all of that. So that's just where I'm at. But anyway, I'd like to move on. It's just getting late here and go to the whole Rumble thing.
Okay.
If you want,
we've been running for 2.5 hours. Yeah, we gotta.
Jesus,
let's wrap up with a Rumble thing real quick. We'll go to that. No, that's not it. Let me put this here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and join us on Rumble real quick. We're gonna finish up. We got a. Apparently, Brittany Griner and Dylan Mulvaney are both calling for the arrest of journalists who misgender them. It's a little weird. We're going to be discussing that a little bit. But y'all switch over to Rumble real quick. We will see you all over there. We'll cut it now.